What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Smoke World. I'm your host, Stone. I want you to go grab that stick, grab a glass, whatever you're going to be drinking. Let's sit back. Let's have a conversation. You can follow me on Instagram at SmokeWorld50. And now you can actually send emails. I try to tell you the same thing on every episode. You can send an email to smokeworld50@gmail.com. Today I have some brothers of the Leaf sitting here with me, and we will be discussing an interesting topic: the Masons, the secret society. I'll let my brothers introduce themselves. We'll start from our right. Hey, brother, how you feel, sir? What's going on? You can introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Michael Parker, a.k.a. the Taylor Stogie. Glad to be here.
Hello, everybody. I'm the Pastor Ty, a.k.a. Pastor Bumpy Johnson.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Alex Selimov, and I'm happy to be here.
Now, the interesting thing here, brothers, because we're going to have a conversation. Again, I always let my audience know that we're not doing interviews here. We have conversations, and we all smoke. So let's start having a conversation about our cigars first. Let's just get into a little bit of smoke session. Alex, is there any particular cigar that you like to smoke? And we start with that.
My transition to cigars, this has been really interesting. Right now, I really smoke AGR. I prefer Puro cigars because I first started smoking when I was living in Cuba in the late 80s.
Oh, okay. That's big
And I
time.
got used to smoking Habanos, Puros, and especially Partagas and Davidoff. So I got used to the flavor. So when I moved to the United States, it was really difficult to get, so for a while, transition was really tough.
Whoa, Alex. I don't like the way that came out. You moved to the United States. You didn't start slumming there with the cigars, man.
Yeah, he was smoking the good stuff. That's the
I
bottom line.
got hit by both, by the change in flavor and by the cost, because cigars in Cuba, they were dirt cheap. And here,
the quality was excellent,
And the
I
quality
imagine.
was excellent, yeah.
What
Quality.
was the price difference like?
I basically could buy something for whatever it was for locals. It's under $1.
Are you kidding?
Yeah,
Under $1?
under $1. And
Wow.
actually,
Well,
you
yeah,
had,
that's where it's made at. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be cheapest.
and they had actually every month you could get 20 cigars for subsidized.
Really?
The Cuban government subsidized up to 20 cigars. So
wow.
yeah, every month you could go and you actually claim those cigars.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good deal there.
Everybody had a right to have their monthly pack of cigars, whether you smoked or not. So people would
Sell them?
trade them, share them, and
Yes, sir.
I always had cigars to smoke. When I came here, it was different. But now I still like puros. I still like cigars that have the same wrapper and the same, everything is rolled in the same country.
Oh, okay.
And I prefer Nicaraguans, AJ Fernandez, and I like
AJ's my
Perdomo
man.
puros, and Alec Bradley. So these are the three I like. Occasionally, like on everyday basis, I prefer Patel, like Decade or Edge,
Okay.
and Oliva. So these are like the cigars when I go to the lounge with, Pastor, and when we get together there,
Definitely. Now, do you
smoke
do you
Patels.
prefer a full body smoke maybe after your dinner? Do you prefer, or are you, since you're coming out of Cuba?
Yeah,
we
it
got to ask that
depends.
question. So
Yeah.
depends on the time of day, what you're eating, what you're drinking.
Yeah.
Do you pair it for anything? Are you a
Of
drinker?
course. I'm not a drinker, but I enjoy an adult beverage once in a while.
Okay. Scotch, bourbon, beer.
That's the doctor in him.
I say nothing.
That would be the doctor speaking.
Yeah, so pairing Maduro and pairing Puro with Habanos always with rum or bourbon, and Connecticut usually in the mornings or like early afternoon, and I usually don't have a beverage with the Connecticut because they're too light.
Gotcha. How about you, bro? What you smoking right now?
Well,
What's your go-to? You have a go-to?
yeah, I do. Yeah, yes, I do. I've been smoking for about 4 years, I guess, and thoroughly enjoy
Why do
it.
you ask me?
Because you've been around and
He wants your permission.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. You've been smoking for years.
He said, I need confirmation on that.
Yeah. I guess I'm thinking it's the Amazon basin, CAO.
You know what? It's interesting you say that. Now, I've been smoking for about maybe 25 years.
Right.
And I didn't have a favorite cigar. But the Amazon Basin came out, and it kind of changed my perspective. My perspective on a favorite cigar. And it would be a cigar that you can't never hardly get now.
Right.
That would be the case.
Right.
So I'm feeling you on that particular Amazon Basin. I'm feeling you on that.
I used to do Maduros.
Oh, I love Maduros.
Heavy
I'm a
Maduro,
Maduro
heavy.
man.
I started out on the triple Maduro
Camacho.
and Camacho.
Okay.
And,
Ooh, Lord.
it was heavy. It was heavy. You know what I mean? I hadn't got high in 30 years, man. I smoked that thing, man. I thought I had some weed or something. I was like, what in the God? What hit
You
me?
need a glass of water.
Hit me. But when the Basin came along, I'm not a cigar aficionado, but the mere fact that they were using 3 types of different tobaccos, and the tobacco actually came from the Amazon.
Yes.
And the way it was treated, and the way they cured it or whatever, I hope I'm saying the right term.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
The way they cured it, just kind of fascinated me. And then it was a good smoke. And our
There's a
first
story.
cousin to that is the Oriana. So I bounced from Amazon to Oriana or something like that.
Okay, for me, it's a difference. I can taste the difference
Can
from the
you?
Oriana, and the
Yeah,
Amazon
that's
Basin.
true.
Yeah, for
Really?
me, the Amazon Basin still is number one.
Number one for
Yeah,
me.
Yeah, for me.
Mhm.
And how about you, brother? What's you
Well,
continue?
I smoke a lot of different things, but I have a few that's my favorite.
You got
Leaf-
300.
Well,
How you
that's
gonna
true
have a
too.
favorite?
Leaf by Oscar is I always enjoy those.
Okay.
Always enjoy those cigars there. Doesn't matter when I grab them, day, night, they're always good smoke.
Mm.
And I got to give my man a plug, Pierce Jeffrey. I smoke a lot of his cigars. He has one in particular called The Bottom. That's, oh my God, I think aficionado will come ask me.
He's got
We're
the
going to have to grade
psychedelic.
this one here. Yeah.
Psychedelic, man.
But my,
Now hold on. Now you can plug Brother Jeffries because he does have a website.
yeah, you can go to PierceJeffrey.com to order your cigars from there. He also has an app that's coming up, so you'll see that.
Oh wow,
soon
he's
coming
getting
as
real
well.
fancy.
Yeah.
But he's got
But
a
he's
lot
on-
of cigars, though, don't he?
Oh, he's got well over 50 brand cigars that
Really?
he do.
Oh,
He's,
wow,
he's
okay.
a master blender, so He put
We
his
didn't know
cigar-
that. He's a master blender.
yeah, he has
Wow.
his own factory, so yeah.
That's big, man.
So he's one of the rare people that does it. But
He's in where?
that-
how do we find him? Philly?
See what I'm saying? See?
Online.
Well,
He
yeah,
is
and-
at Chicane,
yeah.
PA.
It's a cane. Okay, he actually has a
Chicane,
lounge.
PA, Philadelphia. Yeah, he has a lounge.
Yeah, so maybe you can
Yeah.
put the
Yeah.
information
But
out
here's a
there.
secret that most people don't know.
Okay, we're gonna get to a lot of that, but go ahead.
He has a coffee. He has a coffee business.
Oh, really?
And he has different coffee. There are various different type of coffees that he can pair with the cigars.
What?
And the coffees are magnificent.
So you've been really holding out.
Well, I
'Cause,
gotta keep the good stuff to myself. Let me tell you guys.
So can we get his coffee online? Or
I'm not
that's
sure about
kind of
line,
only
but,
in the store.
But he can provide coffee to you if he can mail it to you. If nothing else, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but I don't think you get them online. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay, I got
But
you.
just go to PierceJeffrey.com. You'll see all his information there. Reach out to him. But he is on Cicane, 923 Apartments Avenue, on Cicane in Cicane, PA.
Does he
Gotcha.
recommend certain coffees with certain cigars?
You should probably talk to him about that.
Oh, man. Yeah, we can make him the next guest on Smoke
Yeah,
World.
yeah.
We got to talk to
He
him
also-
about being
he
sit
has,
down.
He also has a podcast as well. He does this on YouTube. It's a video.
Okay, it's a video. Yeah, my face is not designed for
Yeah, I think it's the
video,
Chimney
folks.
Effect, I think is the name of it. Yeah, but I do enjoy his cigars, and he has one now called The Bottom. That's definitely moved to my number 2 on the list. Is one of my favorites.
Really?
I put it past the Oliva G. But my always overall favorite cigar is the Liga 9. That
Okay, that's
Liga
big
One
money.
Liga 9. I
Yeah,
just
well, the way
enjoy
my
it.
bank account set up, I can't quite, just
you had a
go
checking
to
and a
those.
savings account.
No, sir. I don't have none of that. I got a little jar with a rusty top, and it ain't always heavy. Put it that way. It's not always heavy. Now, speaking of cigars and what we're doing now, we're back at the lounges a little bit. We've been visiting. At least I went to go visit a few lounges. Kind of get an idea if you guys feel any difference in going to the lounge since we're kind of still in the midst of the pandemic. I think in this state where we're located here in Delaware, we're up to 50% as far as capacity. And lounges aren't as crowded. Obviously, folks are still nervous about that, rightfully so. Just got to be smart. You got to be safe when you're doing things. But I'm just curious to get everyone's opinion if they have the opportunity to go visit a lounge. Have they seen any difference? Has the crowd been there? Is it a different feel to it?
I have visited only 2 lounges really, and you don't see the crowd's not as big as it was because most people are just riding on the side of caution, not coming out. But it was slowly getting there, and now with the curve going back up, the numbers increase on people testing positive coronavirus. That's going to change now also. But
Yeah.
the vibe was still there, just a smaller crowd. Just a smaller crowd, and then there's people you don't get to see for a while. You haven't seen for a while, you know. You might be able to catch one of them every now and then, but other than that, it's
kind of slow.
Yeah, a little very
Okay.
slow.
How about you, Brother Ty?
You know, I did get a chance to go to a couple lounges, but everybody know I don't cheat on Nick and John. TF2, the tobacco field experience, but you know, I missed the I guess we had a larger crowd.
Yes.
But I want to give kudos and say thank you to the folks who run these tobacco shops, because they have become a whipping post for the state. Tobacco tax this, and then to get hit with this. And from what I observed, they all tried to comply, man. They closed the doors. Some of them did the curb service, and then when they opened back up, it was like a real good feeling, because you're around folks and you develop these relationships with a cigar in your hand.
Yes.
And you find yourself sharing with folks and learning how to trust. And you know, behind the trust is the love. So we got a lot of love in these fellowships, just smoking and kind of sharing with one another. So I miss that. But it's back. It's
Miss that
coming
relationship,
back. I think,
that camaraderie.
I think Bro Mike is correct when he says that, you know, it may turn because of the curve. So, you know, we just going to have to brace for that. Of course, we always got Smoke World.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Come
How
down
about
to-
you, Alex?
Yeah,
What's
I'm
your
here
experience?
right with Brother Mike and Ty. I prefer going to Tobacco Field because they have an open lounge.
Okay,
they
you
have
got the outdoor seating.
Outdoor, and it's pretty, secluded and separated, and the tables are kind of far apart. So even, as soon as they opened and as soon as they allowed to come in, I start going there again because
Okay.
I feel more comfortable be sitting outside and smoking. Plus the environment, Tobacco Field on Newcastle with Nick and John is just amazing.
It is, and that's want to just give a reminder to folks. I know we've been, smoking and doing a lot of stuff online based on default, but it's important that we do support our brick and mortar stores because, again, these are the places that we do go and congregate. We go back, we sit back, like we said, we build relations. That's the kind of things that we miss. Now we all been smoking, wherever we've been smoking, home, porch, mobile lounge.
Yes, sir.
But it's not
Hey,
quite
wait,
the
wait.
same.
Whoa.
Oh,
I
I'm
don't
sorry,
like
sir.
the way you say mobile lounge, because that's where I happen to go. I don't have
Hey, I think we all have a mobile lounge. Hopefully, let's
Mobile
knock
lounge.
the mobile lounge. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey man, get in, man. You want to smoke? But yeah, it's really important that we support the brick and mortar stores because again,
Yes, sir.
that is the the stone that holds things in place.
Yes, sir.
Again, by default, we were all online, and again, that was default. Now things are starting to open back up if folks do the right thing. Now, for those who are listening, folks, you got to be smart. You got to be safe. Wear your mask. You wash your hands. Just pay attention. This shouldn't be about politics. I don't know how we got into the whole political realm of wearing masks was become political. But I'm not going to get on that soapbox. We're going to keep it moving with the program, and we're going to get into an interesting subject. And now, for a disclaimer, I am not a Mason. My brothers and
What?
my
I see.
yeah.
Eavesdropping.
I lied.
Look,
Yeah.
I'll be back.
My bad.
I'll be back.
I thought I had told y'all that before. Oh, my bad.
You failed to mention that. I'll be
Oh,
back.
my bad. Yeah.
Now you tell us.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, what happened was, so we're going to start with Mike.
Okay.
Mike, okay, I'm going to ask the question that each individual can go around and answer. Okay, you can tell us how long you've been a Mason. I don't want to use the word where we was raised, but we can, meaning that where did you
Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
you
so for
not
those
be
who
a
are-
Mason, you using words. Where you get raised from?
Yeah, sir. I do apologize before my listeners who are listening to the
Okay.
podcast who are not familiar with that term. That's
worry about it.
basically saying where were you initiated, or if it's like a fraternity, where did you get your wink, wink?
Okay. All right. So I came into Masonry in 1992. A lodge called Cosmetology number 82 out of Honolulu, Hawaii. It's a military lodge. Is now Hawaii now has its own Grand Lodge, which is called Cosmopolitan Grand Lodge. From there, I went on to visit other lodges, being traveling in the military. I landed in New Orleans, and where I joined the lodge there, Cage Lodge number 248. After being there for a while, the brothers feel fit to vote me as Master of the Lodge, where I served there for 2 years as Master of the Lodge. And in addition to that, I was high priest as well, so the past high priest, and in pretty much all the other houses, like Temple, Shrine. So I've been in about 28 years.
Okay. All right, brother Ty. Same question. Where? How long?
First of all, let me just say, on behalf of the most wishful African Harmony Grand Lodge, free accepted York Rite Masons, Prince Hall origin, Zenith Grand Chapter, the National Compact, and for the state of Delaware on the continent of North America.
Oh, that
That's
sounds
where-
powerful.
Well, that's where I'm from.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty good. Say that again.
And I'm from a lodge.
See what I'm saying?
You know?
Yeah, say that again. What did he say?
Now,
Yeah, say that
look,
again.
Now I was introduced to masonry by some brothers who belong to a lodge called Mount Pisgah. And fraternal work is close to biblical work in a sense. And it was Mount Pisgah number 12. And for those who don't know, that's where Moses stood when he was allowed to see the promised land. He never got to go. So I was attracted to the other piece, and those folks who were in it, they just seemed to be about a little extra, right?
Okay. How many years you saying?
20, I don't know, I guess I've been down 24, 5 years more. But I grew up, my father was in a
Okay.
fraternity. My mother, who just passed, she was the Imperial Commandress.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I kind of saw it,
Mhm.
didn't know what it was. I knew it was special. I always looked at it as special.
Okay.
And I always looked at, I didn't know that I would be going that route.
Gotcha.
And I just kind of saw how they did things and admired them from a distance.
Okay, sounds pretty good. How about you, Alex?
Well, first I gained knowledge of Masonic Order when I was in Cuba, because actually one of the people, one of the friends who worked at Parker Gus Factory was Mason, and we smoked cigars, and he was was very discreet about it, but I knew, and it kind of spiked my interest, but because of my work there, I couldn't join it this time, and then so the time passed, and
Well,
actually
what-
I'm the youngest.
What did you really do, Alex?
I was
Wink,
a
wink.
translator. So yeah.
We get it, Alex.
So
Covert operation.
here, so here finally, when I lived in America for 20 years, I again ran into this club of Brandywine Cigar Club, and there were many of them were Masons, and some of them were from Armstrong, Ionic, and that's where I went and applied 10 years ago. So I'm the youngest here. I'm 10 years old, Mason.
Okay.
But in that time, I was able to go completely through the through the chairs, become a past master in Hiram Lodge
Okay.
in Newark. And,
Alex is smart, y'all.
Yeah,
Don't-
really smart.
Let's not attempt this at home for those of you who are listening.
and Shrine, Scottish Rite, 32nd degree, and York Rite.
Not
as
10
well.
years. You know, you probably know.
Okay, here's a question anyone can answer. I'm sorry. How does one become a Mason? What are the steps? Or I mean, again, we got folks who are listening to this podcast who are like, oh, okay, I heard about the Masons, but how do I become a Mason? is a question that could be answered because some things I may ask that may can't at this point
Well,
can't
the
be
phrase
answered.
has always been simple. To be one, ask one. It's always that's always been the phrase out there. But you see, you engage with people, and you may engage when that's a Mason. You might like what you see, and have strong interest in what they're doing. Simply ask.
So just pretty
Simply
much.
ask. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's a brotherhood, and it's an association where brothers help each other. So it's a society that helps each other, helps the families, help the widows, we're brothers. It doesn't matter where in the world when we meet, we always help each other, and it's really important. That's why we consider each other brother. We call each other brother.
Brother Pierre.
And and for those who are listening, again, this is a men's only organization.
No. And your Masons are.
Masons
Yes.
are, yeah.
Masons.
But I know there's something Eastern Stars.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that a spin-off?
Auxiliary.
Auxiliary. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I want to use the correct terminology here, so I do
We got you.
apologize. Okay, because I'm not really aware.
I'm still baffled, man, how you get 3 past masters in here and you not know nothing.
Yeah, I don't know nothing. Smoke world.
Cow and eavesdroppers around here.
Smoke world. Now, again, I'm pretty sure as a Mason, and I can just tell you, from this particular side, you always hear that it's a secret organization, and it's always something so secretive about it. They can't talk about it. They have these halls, and what do they do behind these walls? And it's a lot of conversation with that, and I think that kind of intrigues the individuals a little bit more because I'm pretty sure you guys have heard at some point in time that, it's some secret organization. What kind of answer? What can you tell the individual who believes or even thinks that it's some type of secret organization?
Let me give you the public answer here.
Yes, sir.
We're not a secret organization. We're an organization that has secrets.
Okay. I like that.
And you can narrow that secret down to really a couple things, and that is, one, what's an individual brother's heart when he comes in the door? You have no idea what's in his heart and his intentions when he comes. You have no idea, so that's a secret to you. And the other key thing is secret is when we ballot and vote, no man knows how the other brother votes. It's totally absolute secret how he votes. Now, anything else on Mason you want to know, you can go to the internet, you go to the History Channel and watch it all and see any and everything you want to know. From the grips to signs, to cigars, to the ritualistic work, all that's available. It's all public. So truly, there's no secret. Now, the large business, the inner working of the business, any organization, there's things within the organization you won't know about unless you're in the organization. to
Absolutely.
witness and see it. So there lies your secrets.
Absolutely. Another question I have, which was raised by some of the listeners, told them that we were going to be talking about Masons. It seems like to some people, some church-going people, that there's a conflict with being a Mason and being, I don't know if I want to use the word Christian, but let me say church folks. There's some type of conflict. And I don't know why that is. They feel as though, again, it's some type of cult and that it's against, the Bible. Anybody can answer that. Have anybody heard anything? I get a lot of that. Oh, it's against the Bible principles. How could you be a churchgoer and be part of the Masons?
I don't understand where that comes from.
Yeah, me either. So I figured I would ask that question because I had one of the listeners.
When you look at this country's history, and you look at those who have had significant contributions, both socially, politically, and everything else, most of these folks, 80, 90% of these folks were devout Christians, from what I remember and from what I've seen. And then I think people act off misconceptions, misinformation, because the masonry that I love talks about a God that I know. That's the most I can talk about, I guess.
Yeah, and one of the saints that you can hear if you become a Mason is Saint John. I mean, how can the organization be not compatible with Christian values when you have a Bible? You have to vouch in Bible. Scripture is always present there. There's a large portion.
You gotta know it.
You gotta know it. Yeah.
You ain't like it's not like you just come in there and play like you no, you got to know.
Okay, now are
Well,
there
let me add something to that, because I've been in lodges all over the world.
Good gracious alive.
Smoke World?
That boy just said something, because they don't let you in everywhere.
Absolutely.
Every lodge.
Knock. Who's that?
Yeah.
Every lodge you walk in is not going to have a Bible on its altar. I went to Istanbul, walked in Masonic Lodge, and there was a Holy Quran on the altar.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
not necessarily a altar, but the thing is, and the foundation is that you have a belief in a higher being.
Right.
That's the foundation of it all.
That's right.
You absolutely have to have a belief in a higher being more powerful than yourself. Okay, with that there, then you can move forward in masonry.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point.
That's interesting. That's a powerful point,
Yeah.
because, of course, I've never been to Istanbul.
Wow.
But, but just to know.
Tickets are kind of cheap right now. I think if
Yeah,
you're interested in
I guess
going.
so. But will they allow us from the United States to come in?
In
that's a
Moscow,
different
for
story.
example, when I visited Moscow Lodge,
Right.
The ancient and affiliated, recognized by the English
Right.
Grand Lodge of England, because there are several groups, and I went to the one that we can go actually, and it was interesting. They had Bible and a Quran, because they had some people from Central Asia who were members of the lodge, and they asked for Quran. So it's Brother Mike is absolutely, Past Master Mike is absolutely right.
Okay, so past master, I hear that term. Again, we spoke about that. So I believe there are different levels, obviously, to masonry. So obviously, if you join, you're not becoming a past master right away. And again, I don't want to get too crazy into. Well, that's the question, because you got to figure.
Let's hope not.
Folks who are listening to this podcast have no clue.
No clue.
All they know is, okay, I heard
Well-
a Mason. My dad was a Mason. My uncle, my grandfather, but they never really looked into it, and it went no further than that. So they're listening. So the reason I'm asking these questions is because, again, now
They don't know.
right, and I just want to kind of educate the listeners on, exactly. Again, we're talking about how you become a Mason, and guess what the steps are. You said, ask another Mason.
Well, with any organization, there's positions.
Okay.
Just to bring it on layman's term, you may rise in position for secretary, treasurer, sergeant of arms, vice president, then you become president of the organization. Once you serve your term as president of the organization, then you become the former president or president emeritus. Well, it works the same way in the Masonic order. You move on, go work the seats, you come what you call the master of the lodge. You are head of that lodge now. You are the guy responsible for running that particular lodge.
Okay.
Once you serve your time, then you become a past master. Now there's some, I'm doing it as simple as there's a lot more to it than that, but I'm making it as simple as possible.
Yeah, that's all. We just
So you
look for the
become-
layman's term for those who are
Right.
listening. We're
So
not
you
trying to
become
get
a
too difficult or
past master,
too.
no matter how long you particularly serve. Some
Okay.
people serve a year, 2 years. Some people serve 100 years. Some
Oh,
people
wow.
never leave.
Okay. And the history of the Mason is actually based on masonry. Building a brick layer. And I don't want to I don't want to put anybody on the spot to say they know history, but
It goes. It's a lot further than that.
okay.
It's a lot further than
It
that.
goes,
If
it goes
you-
back.
if
You
you-
predate.
Yeah, it goes way. It goes a lot further than that.
You can go Egypt. You can go.
I think like the 1500s.
Oh, way back,
Before Christ.
much before Christ.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, well, he wasn't around.
Yeah. We talking Egypt. We talking Kemet.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was the basis of. Again, like I said, I'm just trying to educate. Again, I'm not saying a sensitive subject,
Sure.
but we're talking to individuals who may have some interest, and we're just trying to, I guess, like I said, they need to ask one. This might be the opportunity to hear something that may spark their interest, to talk to another Mason, to see if that's something they want to do. So the conversation that we're having.
The important thing to remember is that Masons take good men in and make them
somebody,
better.
I'm sorry, Alex.
That's
Somebody,
the
Yeah.
point.
somebody hitting the mic over there. Hold on a second there, Alex. I don't know if that's
Might have
the
been Mike.
tie over there.
That's Master Mike. I don't know.
I think they're trying to sabotage you. I mean, as soon as he said the word Mason, all this. Oh, that might be Mike.
I didn't do anything. My mic's here.
Yo, whoa.
My hands are here.
The screen on. But
Yeah, listen, folks, there's some sabotaging going on. As soon as Alex said the word Mason real strong, all the static started jumping off on the mic. So I don't know what's going on, but we're going to try this again. Alex, I'm sorry, sir. Proceed. Now, I can hear you. The audience can hear you now.
The Masonic organization take in good men and make them better. So that's the whole purpose. Making good people better people.
Ooh, I like
in
that.
society, in community,
Absolutely.
toward each other.
Absolutely.
lots of love, lots of support, brotherhood.
Because I do see a lot of, from Philly, and I seen the Masons do a lot of stuff with the communities.
Absolutely.
They were instrumental in, bringing different organizations together, donating some money. So again, that's one of the things people won't see and they don't know.
That's
of.
what I'm saying.
And I'm thinking the Masons not getting any recognition is opportunity.
Well, I don't think
and it's not made to get recognition. They probably do things because that's not their.
That's right.
That's not their thing to say.
That's
We're
not-
doing this to be recognized. No. This is just what we do.
Well,
Right.
with every Mason, you're given a charge, okay, and or a set of rules you need to follow. In particular, one is the charge is when we close our lodge. There's a charge to tell, and in that charge there's a word called discretion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you act and move upon discretion. The Masonic order has never been an order that does things for public glorification, the grandization, and that. It's all about just doing what needs to be done. We don't need to pound the back. We just do what needs to be done. Somewhat like you might say, silent and deep.
Yes, sir. I
And
like
just
that.
take care. And that's where we always been. We've never been a publicity organization that's trying to get out and do it. No, we're not like other fraternal organizations. We're the oldest fraternal organization in the world. Okay. And
No,
a lot of-
wait. You mean the Qs came from us?
Yeah, especially the Qs.
Watch
The
yourself.
Kappas came from us.
Watch
You
yourself.
know, and a
Don't
lot
tell
of
them.
You're
Don't
gonna start a
tell
fight.
them.
You're gonna start a fight.
Don't tell them. Don't tell them.
and
Don't tell 'em.
a lot of organizations have copied, a lot of things we've done, our principles, our rituals, things like that.
Absolutely.
They
Right.
copy a lot of it, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's fine. But we're not an organization that goes out in the public and just say, "Hey, look at us, look what we're doing." No, we prefer to get in and do it, take care of what needs to be taken care of, whether it's a community, a family, whatever. Get it done and move to the next one.
Can I hang a nail with what I heard? Because I think this is an important piece. If someone's out there, young man, and they just kind of, need to belong. Because a
Okay.
lot of young men these days don't have the mentorship.
Exactly.
And they don't have access, Well, Masonry affords you an opportunity, right, to take a look at yourself in your current state, inwardly, and get better with that. So that outwardly, you're just better.
Gotcha.
And, if anybody's out there within the sound of my voice and you happen to be a male, I encourage you to seek us out. Mike said it earlier. To be one, just ask.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's that simple,
and
folks.
you're going to get some help. It changed my life. Changed my
I'm
life.
about to kill myself.
Masonry changed my life.
What's that, Mike? What you said over
I'm
there?
about to embarrass myself.
Now,
Yeah, to be one, just ask, okay?
yeah, but that don't mean.
But
you
there is
gonna
a
get in.
process.
I'm going to say that don't mean you're going to get
Yeah,
in.
that don't mean you're gonna
Right,
get
again,
in. There's a process.
No, that don't mean you're going to
You
get
know.
in.
No doubt. But like I said, at least if you're interested, like you said, if you're
Right.
interested,
Right.
go ask one. Again, that's the process. Everything ain't for everybody.
No.
That's just how it is in life. Interestingly enough, I saw a
Don't
commercial.
rob a couple banks and
I
run to
just
us.
saw a commercial. Speaking of,
Talking about, I wanna
now
be
I had
Mason.
never seen before. Now I'm not an old man, but
Yes.
I actually just saw a commercial a few months ago in reference to Masons, and they was
Really?
actually and it was in Maryland. There was I want to say the word soliciting because they were saying, "Hey, come join the Masons," and I'm like, I had never saw that before, so I thought I don't know if that was strange, but that was a little different for me. That was a little different for me.
I haven't seen that yet.
I know
haven't
that.
seen it yet.
Yeah, that's the
That's
same
unusual.
thing.
That's
Very
unusual.
unusual.
Yeah. I
The
heard
chapter out of
about it.
Maryland.
I heard about it. I haven't seen it, but I heard about it. What can you say? Desperation.
Yeah. Okay. Now.
To a point. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that's just no advertising. I don't know. I just don't know how to say.
Okay, no problem. I got another question, and I'm going to wrap it up. But I noticed I was doing some reading that the Masonic order has been in place for a long period of time, but for African Americans, they had to kind of do or start their own chapter. I thought I was reading because again, based on our segregation, that they weren't allowed to, I guess, I don't know what the word would be used to
Well, I
congregate worship with the other demographic. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, want to touch base on that.
What you
Are you
talking about? He's saying that the white Masons couldn't be with black Masons.
Right.
or
There
black
was
Masons
segregation.
couldn't be with white. It was segregation.
So it was, I guess, yeah. Again,
That's true. And,
Okay.
And in some instances, it's like church. The most segregated hour in America is church, and you wouldn't think so. And I don't think it's done deliberately. I just think the way
It's
things
cultural.
It's culture. It rolled
Okay.
out like that. Now, we can talk about Prince Hall and him receiving the charter. And we can talk about, some folks that you would not believe were Masons
Mhm.
and would make things happen for folks on a macro level, never open their mouth, and blacks as well as whites. Here of late, I've been invited to the white lodges and white functions, and I think people are just trying to embrace the fact that we're all brothers.
okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
And that's something that's been behind, because right now everybody can visit any lodges. I actually didn't live through that era because I'm only 10 years old. So when I came in, there was no any difference.
Okay.
People could go to lodges, and there was a mutual recognition. Now in Cuba, there was no difference. There is just one lodge, and also in the lodges in Africa, for example, or in Europe, there was no distinction. I was a little bit surprised to find it here in America, but it was a historical event because, in my experience, I didn't experience that.
Okay.
Personally.
That's interesting.
Well, that's a little different for me. Being a Prince Hall affiliate Mason is a little different. Especially coming from the South. Okay? We don't necessarily have cross-jurisdiction visitations in the South. Now, it's a well-known thing that the Grand Masters, you might have, coming out of Louisiana, the most worshipful Prince Hall Grand Master of Louisiana, you might have the most worshipful Grand Master of Louisiana. Two different men, okay? And they have conversations. There's other different jurisdiction or Masonic bodies, and they may have conversations time to time, because they all have to know each other. I mean, you just can't exist in that state or know who this person, that person is. But the cross visitation, we didn't have that because of the different charters, Constitution, what they said, and
Really?
right of recognition, things like that. Then we started seeing a lot of the northern states started doing it. A lot of the west states, Washington State in particular, started doing it.
Hold on, folks. There we go again with the static. Again, that's Mike. So we found out who it is. When Mike's smacking the wires, he started talking about the South and Masons. Somebody don't like that. There we go again. So I'm convinced now. I thought it was just a fluke, but no. It's the South.
Okay.
It's those two words. Those are trigger words.
Mechanical bad problems over here. so that has.
Now, has that changed now? Is it or just still the same? Or do you know?
It's pretty much still the same. I mean, you see a brother on the street. Hey, how you doing, man? You brothers and all. But actually going into each other's lodge and visiting, no. I'll tell you an interesting thing though. When I became master of my lodge, I had to go to. I was working. I started a new job, and I had to go to Boston for training out in Andover, right outside of Boston. And I got on the phone, observing our protocol. I got on the phone, called the Grand Lodge, Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge in Massachusetts. And said, hey, listen, I'll be in your area. And I spoke to this one worshipful master. He said, listen, you're going to be in my time when I'm holding my meeting, so come to my meeting. Sure, absolutely, I'll be there. So I got in town, got set up at the hotel, got my rental car. When the meeting was going at night, I actually got there. I got to the lodge, introduced myself, went through the walks and steps to prove who I was and all, which they already pretty much had an idea. And when I came in, lo and behold, sitting in as worship master of the lodge was a white brother. Okay, and I sat there, did my formal greetings, introduction, just observing protocol. Sat down, enjoyed the meeting with him, and afterwards we broke a little bread, had a little, little din, and then he was telling me, he said, I am the first white worshipful master from Prince Hall,
Wow.
in Massachusetts. At the very same time, over in the Grand Lodge, Massachusetts, they had a brother, black brother, who was actually the first black worshipful master there. So it was very odd there. And also what I noticed too was when, went downstairs, they had a bar, Masons like to get together and have a little drink, socialize. And sitting next to me and talking, they were very interested in talking to me about, Prince Hall, based in Louisiana. was a past Grandmaster for the most worshipful Grand Lodge of Massachusetts. And the other side was the past Grandmaster for the most worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Massachusetts. And they were all right there together. And they explained they do have cross jurisdiction, and I explained that well, that's something we don't have just yet. We haven't got there yet. You know, it's the South moves slow in that area.
And where were you?
You know?
I don't know if I caught that. Where were you at when you were? What state was this?
Louisiana.
Oh, Louisiana. Okay.
Yeah. So the South moves slow in that direction there. And then, but more so than anything, it's a matter of power. You know, these grandmasters have a lot amount of power and a lot of money amassed behind that power. So if you start going across jurisdiction, eventually you want to augment to one. Well, who's going to relinquish their power? So that's always a play and a factor in there. You know. So, but I think it's over time it'll probably change where we can do visitation. You know, but it's not on a major grand scale. Even now, you know, it's come over and visit on special occasions, things like that there. So it's not like it just, you know, I'm going to go to this lodge one day, I'm going to go to that lodge the next day. No, it's not like that. Nowhere in the United States is like that I'm aware of.
Wow. And like so your experience has been, you know, in foreign countries, and that has been the case where you actually could just
well,
go.
I've never been in the Southern Lodge, unfortunately. So
I'm saying this is another country. This is the United States problem.
Yeah,
we got other problems
States,
too.
Yeah,
but,
United States. But like in our lodge and other lodges in Delaware right now, there is no difference. Person can join a Prince Hall or can join a regular lodge. Both are regular lodge, of course, recognized by the Grand Lodge of England.
But that's because folks are working at that, and it doesn't just happen. I think people have to have the will to want to integrate, and to want to cross jurisdiction, and to understand that the vision is bigger, and what we represent is bigger than what we think we know. And I just find that we're moving in the right direction. It may be slow, and I understand I get frustrated because I see so many talented folks in masonry, and I just, you know, we can do a lot if we, you know, but it's all in God's time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, is there, again, I'm going to hold you guys because I know you guys look like
Smoke
cigar.
World.
Is there anything that we haven't covered that you maybe want to add to the podcast here? Alex, anything?
Thank you for bringing us here. It was really delightful to see after all this long, you know, hiding at the house, working from home, be with brothers, enjoy a cigar, and that's wonderful. That's just wonderful. Thank you. Smoke World.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming. How about you, brothers? Anything you want to add that we didn't cover?
Well, you know, a lot of Masons smoke cigars.
Okay.
Especially the Shriners, you know, especially the Shrine Nobles, you know.
Yes, sir.
A lot of cigars, you know, and all over the world at that.
All right. Well, listen, folks.
Man, I didn't do my logo.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do my clothes.
Well, you went to your phone, bro. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, because they
Brody's
looking
closing down in the speech. You know how reverends are.
They looking for me, man.
I'm sorry, sir.
I just want to say thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to be with your our friends.
Yes, sir.
But may you live for as long as you want. And this is for your listeners. Never want for as long as they live. Live to be 103, me 103 minus a day.
Wow.
And I never know that Smoke World has kind of went away.
Listen, I'm patenting that. I'm going to patent that right now. I don't know what he just said, but I'm going to rewind that later. And I'm going to use that.
Twice, and after that, it's all yours.
Pass the plate.
Yeah.
It's time for offering.
Make sure you reference my boy.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, listen, folks, I appreciate y'all listening out there. Stay tuned for the next one. Again, you can follow me on SmokeWorld50 at Gmail. You can send to SmokeWorld50 at gmail.com. Again, folks, we love you. We're going to see you on the other side. Peace.